हरि ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः. The Hanuman Chalisa, a sacred composition of 40 verses in praise of Sri Hanuman, is one of the most beloved hymns chanted for strength and the blossoming of devotion. This offering invites the seeker to dive into the essence and meaning of each shloka with explanation by Swami Swarupananda that brings out their depth and relevance with guided prompts, space to record insights, and beautiful illustrations that bring each verse to life. This becomes a journey of self discovery, bringing home the courage and conviction to lead a purposeful life. Start your trek today to dive into the depths of your own strength and devotion. Insights from Hanuman Chalisa, a book by Swami Swarupananda. Reading thereof. Publisher's note: to commemorate the 75th year of the Chinmay movement, Chinmay Amrut Mahotsav, this special Prasad Pustika is offered by Chinmay Mission for the benefit of all. Sri Hanuman stands tall at Siddhabari Ashram at the foothills of the Himalayas as a steadfast guardian of India's spiritual heritage and cultural strength. In this special year, the insights from Hanuman Chalisa is being distributed across the world, sharing his blessings with all. Across the world, sharing his blessings with all. Central Chinmay Mission Trust gratefully acknowledges all donors and well-wishers whose devotion and support have made this publication possible. May Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda's grace and Shri Hanuman's blessings ever be upon them and their family. When you lead a life in complete surrender to Lord Rama, then the strength that rises from within you, that is Shri Hanuman. When love, beauty, erudition, courage, determination, and success come to your life from a source beyond the body, mind, and intellect, that is Shri Hanuman. When you reach your life's goal like a sure shot arrow from Shri Ram's bow, that is Shri Hanuman. Keep him always within your heart as the situation demands, chanting the Lord's name in times of peace and in the face of imposing challenges, for that is where he belongs. Swami Chinmayananda, an embodiment of strength, service, and surrender. Contents: companion for life, invoking the Holy One, strength, intelligence and knowledge, ocean of wisdom and strength, messenger of strength, destroyer of ignorance, glowing with goodness, symbol of self-mastery, lineage of luster, efficiency unto him, delight in devotion, sizable service, aggressively good, the extra mile, serve and deserve, favorite of all, praiseworthy prowess beyond limits and language, linked in accomplished advisor, aspire for the higher, inspiring, making the impossible possible, guardian of greatness. You have our backs, unmatched and awe-inspiring, ghostbuster, beyond the body, deliverer from difficulties, the Lord's missionary, well-wishing, wish fulfiller, glowing glory, clear position, live to give, in His service at His feet, eternal happiness headed to Him. Look no further, a thought away, my teacher, my champion, 100 times 100% guarantee. Lord Shiva's seal of approval, Shri Hanuman in my heart, four in one, always and in all ways. 40 days of chant, read and reflect. Shri Hanuman Chalisa. Transliteration and pronunciation guide, the Chinmay experience. Chinmay Amrit Mahotsav commemorative publication celebrating 75 years of Chinmay movement. Companion for life. The Hanuman Chalisa is more than a hymn, it is a doorway into the spirit of devotion, courage, humility, and wisdom, all beautifully embodied in Sri Hanuman. In 40 simple verses, Goswami Tulsidas offers us not only a prayer but also a guide for life. There is a great formula for progress: as you think, so you become. If we meditate upon something, then we become that. To remember Sri Hanuman is to awaken the strength to face difficulties, the clarity to choose rightly, and the surrender that allows divine grace to flow through us. Each verse is like a mirror that reflects our inner potential and shows us how to live with purpose and love. This book represents the Chalisa verse by verse with meaning. Its powerful message to take root in your heart, where Sri Hanuman is remembered with love. There live Sri Ram, Mother Sita, and Lakshman in the form of knowledge, devotion, and selfless service. Invoking Shri Guru Charan Saroj Raja Nij Mano Kuru Sudhari Badano Raghubar Vimal Jasu Jodayak Phulachari. With the dust of the lotus feet of my Guru, I cleanse the mirror of my mind and then sing the spotless glories of the best in the Raghu dynasty, who gives us the four fruits of life. Our mind, like a mirror, has gathered the dust of countless lifetimes, lust, greed, anger, ego, such that it cannot reflect the divinity that is ever present within us. But the dust of the Guru's feet symbolizes humility and surrender, cleanses the mind instantly, restoring it to clarity. The Guru is the true purifier. With this clean heart, we sing the glories of the unblemished Sri Hanuman. Sant Tulsidas glorifies Sri Hanuman here as a son of the Raghu dynasty, for his love was so pure that Sri Ram and Mother Sita called him their own child. In remembering him, we are blessed by the four goals that lead us to ultimate fulfillment: dharma, merit and righteousness, artha, wealth and security, kama, fulfillment of desires, moksha, liberation and bliss. Reflect. Imagine a still, clear lake mirroring every tree and cloud. As the water turns muddy, observe the loss of reflection. Imagine the mind as a lake. What muddied it today? If the dust of the Guru's lotus feet signifies leaving the teachings, what concrete steps will be taken today? Prayer, seva, japa, or study to invite grace and cleanse the mind. Strength, knowledge, and intelligence and knowledge. बुद्धिहीन तन जान के सुमिरा पवन कुमार, बल बुद्धि विद्या देव मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार. Recognizing myself as dull and ignorant, I remember you, O Son of the Wind God. Grant me strength, intelligence, and knowledge, and remove the sorrows and impurities of my mind. Prayer is often misunderstood as a list of demands or complaints, when in truth it is an act of surrender, placing ourselves at the altar of the all compassionate and allowing His power to work through us. Goswami Tulsidas reveals the art of true prayer through 5 steps. Naman, bowing down in humility, admitting our ignorance and letting go of pride. Smaran, remembering with love Shri Hanuman, the son of Pavana Devata, who moves like the wind, serving tirelessly without seeking reward. Kirtanam, glorifying his noble qualities and welcoming him into our heart. Yachana, asking not for fleeting gains, but for the real treasure of strength, intelligence, and knowledge. Arpanam, offering our weaknesses such as anger, greed, lust, and ego, or allowing Jaya Kapi Satyam Lok Ujagara. Victory to you, O Hanuman, an ocean of wisdom and virtue. Victory to you, O Lord of the Vanaras, who illumines all the 3 worlds. The very name Sri Hanuman means one whose jaw is broken. As a child, he leaped up to the sky, mistaking the sun for a ripe fruit. Alarmed, Lord Indra struck him with a thunderbolt, injuring his chin. Even as a child, Sri Hanuman's power was unmatched. But he is not only mighty, he is also a treasure house of clarity that Sri Ram instantly recognized him as no ordinary being, but one who is well versed in the scriptures. In Sri Hanuman, strength and wisdom blend seamlessly. As shown by Ravan, strength and knowledge without values can be dangerous and destructive. Sri Hanuman, on the other hand, embodies humility, service, courage, compassion, devotion, and selflessness. That is why he is celebrated as the light of the 3 worlds, illuminating here, there, and everywhere with his presence. Reflect: how do I use my strengths to serve or to assert pride? Name a person who pairs strength with humility. And what sets them apart? The Hanuman virtue to everybody this week. What is it for me? Messenger of strength, Ramadota Atulita Baladhama, Anjani Putra Pavana Sutanama. You are the messenger of Sri Ram and incomparable strength, abode of incomparable strength. You are known as the son of Mother Anjani and the wind god. Whenever Sri Hanuman was asked who he was, he never spoke of his own power or greatness. He always simply said, I am the messenger of Sri Ram. His greatest identity was not his abilities, but his relationship with the Lord. True humility is to define ourselves by our devotion rather than our ego. Sri Hanuman possesses strength beyond compare. He carried mountains, shook Lanka, and faced armies of demons single handedly. His power was immeasurable, but it was never misused for selfish gain, for he had no desires of his own, no attachments binding him. When the ego is surrendered, the infinite power of the Lord flows through us as it did through Sri Hanuman who served Sri Ram as closely as a shadow. Born of Mother Anjani and blessed by Pavan Devata, the wind god, Sri Hanuman is a symbol of purity, service, and brilliance. From Mother Anjani, he inherited devotion and gentleness. From Pavana Devata, the spirit of tireless service, and from the grace of Lord Shiva himself, great courage and strength. Thus, Sri Hanuman stands as an embodiment of supreme power, dedicated wholly to the world, Lord. Reflect, what is my higher goal in life? How does aligning work with a higher purpose strengthen resolve and resilience? What desire or attachment can I set down to serve more freely? Destroyer of ignorance, Mahavir Vikrama Bajarangi, Kumati Nivara Sumati Kesangi. O great hero, mighty as the thunderbolt, you remove wrong thinking and are the companion of the wise. Sri Hanuman is Mahavira, the great hero. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act in spite of it. And Sri Hanuman shows us this in every moment. He is Vikrama, heroic indeed and fearless in spirit. His strength likened to the thunderbolt of Indra, unbreakable, unstoppable, and always victorious. But his greatness is not in power alone. His true heroism is in the battle against ignorance. Sant Tulsidas calls him the remover of Kumati, negative thoughts, distorted values, false beliefs, and the inseparable companion of Sumati, right thinking, noble virtues, and clarity. Sri Hanuman's presence awakens discrimination in us, giving us the strength to reject what is false and embrace what is noble. He is Bajrangi, whose body is like a thunderbolt, yet whose heart is soft with compassion, the protector of righteousness and the destroyer of evil, not only in the outer world but in our own mind. To meditate on Sri Hanumanji is to invite strength, courage, right thinking into our lives. Reflect, what negative thoughts trouble me most? How do I show courage when afraid? What steps can I take today on towards right thinking? Glowing with goodness. Kanchana Barana Viraj Subesa, Kanana Kundala Kunchita Kesa, of golden complexion and radiant form, adorned with earrings and curly hair. Sri Hanuman is often thought of as only mighty and strong, but Tulsidas also celebrates his beauty. His form shines with a golden radiance, glowing not from ornaments or decoration, but from the brilliance of purity and devotion. His appearance is captivating, full of charm, and at once inspires reverence and affection. He is adorned with jewels of kundala earrings, representing the constant hearing of the glories of the Lord. His curly locks are like rays of wisdom, crowning his head. His outer beauty reflects his inner splendor of selflessness, devotion, and humility. Even in the Ramayana, the portion that narrates Sri Hanuman's great exploits is called Sundar Kand, the beautiful canto. For whatever Sri Hanuman is, there is beauty. The glow of virtue is greater than any ornament, and in Sri Hanuman we see that true charm lies in love for all, service and purity of heart. Reflect. What qualities make a person truly beautiful? Why do we often value outer appearance more? How can I make my life truly beautiful? Symbol of self mastery. हाथ वज्र ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मुंज जनेऊ साजे. In your hands shine the thunderbolt and the flag, and on your shoulder rests the sacred thread of munja grass. Sri Hanuman's hands hold the symbols of invincible strength and noble achievements. The Vajra, Indra's thunderbolt, and the Dhwaja, the flag of victory. These are said to be etched into his very being, showing that he was born with immense power, destined for triumph. But strength alone does not make greatness. On his shoulder rests the sacred thread, the Janeu, a symbol of brahmacharya, self-control and discipline. Many inherit strength or fortune, but waste it in the indulgence of ignorance. Sri Hanuman directs all his energies in the service of Sri Rama through self control, discipline, and moderation. True success comes not just from talent or power, but from self mastery. Without restraint, even great strength is squandered. Knowledge cannot be gained when our mental energies are dissipated. With discipline, every gift becomes an offering to the Lord. Reflect what dissipates my mental energies in daily life. Where do I lack self control? How can I bring more discipline into my daily life? Lineage of luster. Shankara Suvarna Kesari Nandana Teja Pratapa Mahajagavandana. Son of Lord Shankar Shiva and child of Kesari, your brilliance and glory are praised by the world. Sri Hanuman's birth itself is filled with divine grace. He is called the son of Lord Shiva, whose power and blessing are present in him. As the son of Kesari, he inherited courage, strength, and royal valor. From his mother Anjani came purity, gentleness, and devotion. Thus, every aspect of his being radiates brilliance. From Lord Shiva, he carries deep devotion and austerity from Pavan Devata, tireless service and humility from Kesari, bravery and loyalty, and from Mother Anjani, tenderness and love. Sri Hanuman is the perfect harmony of divine qualities, shining not for himself but for the Lord he serves. The world boasts because he is reflect what qualities have I inherited from my parents or teachers. In what ways did family and community shape my success? In what small ways can I serve today truly without expecting anything in return? Efficiency unto him. विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करे बेको आतुर. Master of knowledge, full of virtues, wise and clever, ever eager to serve the work of Sri Ram. Sri Hanuman is celebrated as the treasure house of knowledge, virtues, and skills. His wisdom was not dry scholarship, but living intelligence, knowing what to say, how to act, and when to act for manipulation, but always for the Lord's work. In him we see the secret of success, eagerness to serve. No obstacle could tempt him away from his mission. Pleasure did not distract him. Threats such as jealousy and pride did not deter him, and even dangers could not stop him. His whole being was absorbed in completing Sri Ram's work. Knowledge and skill alone can make one arrogant, but when offered to a higher altar, they become powerful tools of Dharma. Sri Hanuman teaches us that the highest use of talent is not self glorification but service to the divine. Reflect. What work in my life do I approach with eagerness and joy? In which areas of my life do I know the right thing but procrastinate doing it? How is the antidote to jealousy and pride? Delight in devotion. प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया, राम लसन लखन सीता मन बसिया. You delight in listening to the glories of the Lord, and Ram, Lakshman, and Sita dwell ever in your heart. Sri Hanuman's joy was not in wealth, power, or fame, but in listening to the glories of Sri Ram. Like a lover never tires of hearing about their beloved, Sri Hanuman is never tired of Rama Katha. His very breath resounded with the Lord's name. Once, when Mother Sita offered him a necklace of pearls, he broke each pearl open to see if Sri Ram's name was within. Not finding it, he cast them away. When asked if Sri Ram was within him, Sri Hanuman tore open his chest, revealing Sri Ram. Lakshmana and Mother Sita glowing in his heart. Ram, Lakshmana and Mother Sita glowing in his heart. This is devotion where every thought, word, and even heartbeat is absorbed in the devotion, is absorbed in the Lord alone. His example reminds us that true love is to keep God constantly in the heart, to find delight in His glories, and to see His presence in everything. Reflect. What do I most delight in listening to? Which story from the Ramayana has stayed with me since childhood, and why does it still resonate? How can I bring remembrance of God into my daily routine? Sizable service. सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा, विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा. You appeared before Sita in a small form, and later assumed a mighty form to burn Lanka. When Sri Hanuman approached Mother Sita in Lanka, he came in the form of a small monkey, so as not to frighten her. Before the mother, he was gentle and humble, but when faced with the demons who mocked and bound him, he grew to a terrible form, set Lanka aflame, and terrified its people. This is Sri Hanuman's greatness. He knew when to be soft and when to be fierce, when to bow and when to roar. Today, often we are arrogant before our teachers and timid before our weaknesses. Sri Hanuman teaches us the opposite, humility before the noble and firmness before the wicked. His strength was never for himself, but always for the Lord's work. In Sri Hanuman, we see the perfect balance of greatness and power, a harmony born of surrender. Reflect. Track today's interactions. Am I strong when needed and patient when it matters? How can I practice adaptability going forward, knowing when to remain quiet and when to take bold action? What attachment or desire is blocking me from being courageous? Aggressively good. भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारे, रामचंद्र के काज सवारे. Assuming a fearsome form, you destroyed demons and completed the work of Sri Ram. Sri Hanuman was not only gentle and humble, but also a fierce warrior when Dharma demanded it. In his terrifying form, he crushed powerful demons and cleared the way for Sri Ram's victory. Every battle he fought was not for glory or revenge, but to fulfill the mission of Sri Ram. This is the measure of a true devotee. All actions, whether soft or severe, as required, are performed only as service to the Lord. Even destruction of Sri Hanuman hands become destruction at Sri Hanuman's hands became an act of compassion, for it removed unrighteousness and restored peace. For us, the demons are often inner ones: anger, jealousy, greed, ego. Sri Hanuman's fierce energy is invoked to destroy these tendencies in us so that the Lord may shine through our lives. Reflect: what are the inner demons to destroy which I need Sri Hanuman's help? Do I fight battles for ego or for dharma? Am I willing to stand for truth even when it is uncomfortable? The extra mile. लाए सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए. You brought the Sanjeevani herb and revived Lakshman, and Sri Ram embraced you with joy. When Lakshman was struck down in battle, all seemed lost. Sri Hanuman leapt across the skies, lifted the entire mountain of herbs, and returned in time to save Lakshman's life. In doing so, he restored not only Lakshman but also Sri Ram's hope and the spirit of the army. So moved was Sri Ram that he embraced Sri Hanuman with overflowing love. What greater reward could there be than to be held in the Lord's heart? Sri Hanuman shows us that timely service done with devotion brings the embrace of God Himself. In life too, Sri Hanuman is the restorer of our strength when we feel faint, the healer of our wounds when despair strikes. Remembering Him revives our own spirit, filling us with courage and hope. Reflect: what impossible change in my life requires faith and determination today? What does restoring life mean in my spiritual journey? Is my attitude to service half hearted or alive with Sri Hanuman like enthusiasm? Serve and deserve. रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई, तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही सम भाई. Sri Ram praised you greatly, saying, "You are as dear to me as my brother Bharat." What greater glory could a devotee receive than to be declared by the Lord Himself as dear as His own brother? Such was Sri Ram's praise for Sri Hanuman after his mighty deeds. It was not his strength alone that won this affection, but his unwavering devotion and selfless service. Sri Hanuman did not seek recognition, he lived only to serve, yet the Lord Himself answered. Lord Himself showered him with praise. This is the secret of devotion. When we forget ourselves in loving service, the Lord remembers us and holds us closest to his heart. Sri Hanuman thus stands as the highest example of service, more than an ally, more than a servant. He became family to the Lord, bound by love that transcends birth and blood. Reflect. When do I serve without expectation of recognition or with selflessness? How do I respond when others acknowledge my contribution? What would it mean for me to be dear to the Lord? Favorite of all. सहस बदन तुम रोज सगावे, अस कहीं श्रीपति कंठ लगावे. A thousand mouths sing your glory, so said the Lord as he embraced you. Even Sheshanaga, with his thousand mouths, cannot exhaust and the praises of Sri Hanuman. His glory is eternal and words fall short to describe him fully. Sri Ram himself acknowledged this and embraced Sri Hanuman with supreme love. This moment is not only a reward for Sri Hanuman but also a revelation for us. No matter how great the devotee's achievements are, the Lord sees the heart, not the action. Sri Hanuman's deeds were vast, and his family and his humility made them shine brighter still. He never claimed anything for himself. The Lord, overwhelmed by such surrender, declared that his praises would resound through eternity. Sri Hanuman's glory is not his own, but the reflection of Sri Ram's presence in him. In remembering Sri Hanuman, we remember the Lord, and in praising Sri Hanuman, we glorify God's grace. Reflect. What practical tips come to mind to remember that all glory is of Bhagavan? What can I do each day that would make my parents, teachers, or God proud of me? Do I notice and praise the good in others? Praiseworthy prowess. Sanakadika Brahmadi Munisa Narada Sarada Sahita Arisa. Even Sanaka and other sages, Brahma, Narada, Saraswati, and Sheshanag sing your glories. Sri Hanuman is adored not just by devotees on earth, but also by the highest beings, Sanaka and his brothers, the eternal sages, Lord Brahma, the creator, Narada, the great devotee, Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge, and Sheshanaga, the very support of creation, all sing his praises. Sri Hanuman embodies all that they represent. In him we find Brahma's creative power, Saraswati's wisdom, Narada's devotion, and Sheshanaga's endurance. His greatness is recognized by those who themselves are embodiments of divine qualities. This shows us that Sri Hanuman is revered across heaven, earth, and beyond because he personifies the perfection we all seek devotion, humility, and service. Reflect. Do I look up to role models who inspire goodness, or do I admire only those who are popular and powerful? What divine qualities do I most wish to reflect in my life? How does Sri Hanuman inspire me beyond worldly ideals, beyond limits and languages? जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाँ थे कभी को भी कही सके कहाँ थे. Even Yama, Kuber, and the guardians of the directions cannot fully describe your glory, nor can poets and scholars. The Lord of Death, Yama, who knows the destiny of all beings, cannot measure Sri Hanuman's greatness. Kuber, the Lord of Wealth, who commands immense resources, cannot quantify his value. The guardians of the directions who watch over the universe cannot contain his expanse. If even such mighty beings cannot describe him, what can poets or scholars say? Sri Hanuman's glory lies beyond intellect, beyond language, beyond comprehension. His life is not to be analyzed, but to be lived in devotion. The more we try to measure him, the more we realize his boundless nature. This is a reminder not to limit devotion to the intellect. Singing Sri Hanuman's praises is not an exercise in poetry but an act of love. His greatness is not to be explained but to be experienced in the heart. Reflect. Do I try to understand God only with intellect? Notice the scared in the ordinary everyday things, and offer thanks for the unseen grace at work. What does immeasurable greatness mean to me? Linked in तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा. You helped Sugriv, bringing him to Sri Ram, who restored him to his throne. Service was not only to Sri Ram and Mother Sita, but to others also. He brought hope to Sugriv, who had lost his kingdom and lived in fear of his brother Vali. Sri Hanuman introduced him to Sri Ram, who restored him to kingship. This is Sri Hanuman's compassion. He is never satisfied with his own devotion but wants to bring others to the Lord too. He connects us to Lord, intercedes on our behalf and ensures that we too receive His grace. Sugriv represents the struggling soul harassed by the weight of karma. Sri Hanuman is the Guru who takes us by the hand and leads us to Sri Ram. Through His grace, we find refuge in the Lord and are restored to our true dignity. Reflect. Who has been a Sri Hanuman in my life, leading me closer to God? Do I also help others find faith and hope? Do my friendship nurture and support my spiritual path? Accomplished advisor. तुमरो मंत्र विभीषण माना, लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना. Vibhishan accepted your counsel, and the whole world knows he became the king of Lanka. Even in Lanka, amidst demons, Sri Hanuman recognized the devotion of Vibhishan, the brother of Ravan. When Vibhishan hesitated, wondering if Sri Ram would accept him, Sri Hanuman reassured him with firm words of faith, surrender, and the Lord's grace will embrace you. Vibhishan did as advised, and as the world knows, he became king of Lanka by Sri Ram's blessing. Sri Hanuman's guidance transformed his life. This verse is a reminder of Sri Hanuman's role as the inspirer of faith. He urges us not to wait until we are perfect, but to approach the Lord as we are. The Lord does not demand any qualification, He demands only sincerity. Sri Hanuman gives us the courage to take that step of surrender. Reflect. Am I pursuing my spiritual goals now or postponing them? Are my efforts does uh, are my efforts both sincere and consistent? How would I face a crisis if I truly surrendered? Aspire for the higher. जुग सहस्र जोजन पर भानु, लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानु. You leapt across thousands of yojanas to reach the sun, mistaking it for a sweet fruit. As a child, Sri Hanuman's playtime was unique, seeing the sun rise in the sky, glowing like a mirror. Glowing like a ripe fruit. He leapt across thousands of miles to seize it. The gods trembled at his strength, and Indra struck him with his thunderbolt, breaking his jaw. From that moment, he was known as Sri Hanuman, the one with a broken chin. This story shows us the boundless courage and energy that was natural to him. Even in childhood, he, his leap towards the sun is not only a tale of power but also a symbol of the soul reaching for the highest light. It teaches us that our hearts too must aspire to the radiant goal of truth with fearless determination. Reflect. What sun of higher aspiration do I leap towards? Why fear to obstacle to stop me or obstacle to stop me? Complete this affirmation to return to in difficult times. I am strengthened by dash. Whatever comes, I meet it with dash. Inspiring. प्रभु मुद्रिका मिली मुख माही जलधि लांगी गए अचरज नाही. With the Lord's ring held in your mouth, you leapt across the ocean. No wonder in that. When in his mouth as a token of his mission, with Sri Ram's name and purpose guiding him, even the impossible ocean was easily crossed. This verse teaches us that when we carry the Lord in our hearts, nothing is insurmountable. Alone, our strength is limited, but with Lord's blessing, the great obstacles become simple steps along the journey. The secret is to remember always who we are serving. Reflect. If I see myself as the Lord's instrument, how could it change my outlook on work and life? It is said that name and form are one. How can I allow japa to flow naturally through my life, daily life? When faced with obstacle, do I see them as barriers or as steps in my spiritual journey, making the impossible possible? दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते. All the difficult tasks of the world become easy by your grace. To the world, certain tasks appear impossible. Mountains of obstacles stand in the way, and human effort seems powerless. But to Sri Hanuman, nothing is impossible. With his grace, what was hard to attain, Durgama, becomes smooth and attainable Sugama. This is because Sri Hanuman is not limited by ego or fear. His strength is divine and his heart is fully surrendered. When such a being blesses us, our burdens are lifted, our paths cleared. To call upon Sri Hanuman is to invoke courage, clarity, and the assurance that the Lord's work will succeed. Reflect. Do I give up at the first obstacle or rise to meet the challenges? Can I recall a time when working with pure intention cleared the path for success? Reflect on leaders and saints who changed the world by acting from their highest inspiration. Guardian of greatness, राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे, होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे. You are the guardian of Sri Ram's door. None may enter without your permission. Sri Hanuman is not only the servant of Sri Ram, but also the protector of his devotees. He stands at the Lord's doorway, allowing entry only to those who are sincere and humble. Without his blessings, one cannot reach Sri Ram's presence. This shows the indispensable role of the Guru and the devotee saint. Just as no one can reach the king without the ministers word. No one can approach Sri Ram without the guidance of Sri Hanuman. He tests us, removes our impurities, and ensures we come before the Lord with a pure heart. Reflect why approach God through a devotional attitude of humility and surrender. In addition to sincerity and humility, what other qualities do I need to receive Sri Hanuman's blessings? What virtue will I practice as a way of symbolically knocking on Sri Hanuman's door? You have our back. सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी सरना, तुम रक्षक कामों को डरना. All joys are obtained by taking refuge in you. With you as protector, there is no fear for anyone. Sri Hanuman's shelter is complete protection. Whoever surrenders to him finds peace, joy, and fearlessness. He removes obstacles, destroys inner enemies, and guards the devotees with his might. This verse assures us that no worldly power, no enemy, no sorrow can harm the one who has surrendered at Sri Hanuman's feet. His protection is not only outer but also inner, removing fear, instilling courage, and granting peace of mind. To live in his refuge is to walk in strength, humility, and joy. Reflect. Try this today. Work with joy and humility, but offer all your efforts to Sri Hanuman in surrender. Do you ever feel fear or anxiety around certain people? Offer those feelings to Sri Hanuman and also how your heart responds. Whom can I support or protect today as a way of expressing the strength I receive from God? Unmatched and awe-inspiring. आपन तेज समारोह आया पाए, तीनों लोग हाँक दे कापे. You alone control your immense power and are at your door, at your roar. The three worlds tremble. Sri Hanuman's strength is unmatched, yet what makes him glorious is that he keeps it under perfect control. Power without restraint becomes destructive, but Sri Hanuman channels it only on the Lord's work, only for the Lord's work. He roar, his roar shakes the three worlds, yet his heart remains soft with devotion. True greatness is not in display, but in mastery. Sri Hanuman's self control reminds us that energy, talent, and influence must be guided by humility and purpose. Controlled power brings protection, uncontrolled power brings ruin. Sri Hanuman embodies power surrendered at the feet of Sri Rama. Reflect. Recall water in its many forms: a stream, raindrop, a waterfall, and then as a torrential downpour. Like water, my words and actions are being beautiful when restrained. What happens when I lose control? What can I do to quickly regain awareness when I start losing control? घोस्ट बस्टर भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवै महावीर जब नाम सुनावै. Ghosts and evil spirits do not come near when the name of Mahavir is spoken. The world is filled with unseen forces that disturb and weaken us. Some are outer fears, others are inner ghosts of doubt, despair, anger, or depression. Sri Hanuman's name is the shield that keeps them away. Where his name resounds, no negativity can remain. This is why people chant the Hanuman Chalisa to ward off fear and danger. His very presence radiates courage and protection. By remembering him, we find strength to face not only spirits of the unseen but also the dark tendencies within ourselves. Reflect. Try this today. When anxiety to fear or fear of the unknown arises, I will surrender it to Sri Hanuman and trust his protection. Try this today. When my mind dwells on the past, I will offer my sadness and anger to Sri Hanuman and find peace beyond the body. नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत हीरा. He destroys disease and removes all pain for those who constantly repeat Sri Hanuman's name. Sri Hanuman is called the great healer. His remembrance brings strength to the weak, hope to the despairing, and light to those in darkness. Just as he brought the Sanjeevani herb to revive Lakshman, he brings healing to those who call on him. But his healing is nothing more than physical. He is more than physical. He cures the deeper diseases of the heart, lust, greed, anger, jealousy, which bring suffering far greater than bodily pain. By chanting his name, the mind becomes strong, pure, and fearless. This inner health is the foundation of outer well being. Reflect, chant the Hanuman Chalisa or Sri Hanuman's name today for someone who is suffering. Choose a two-line prayer of Doha or Doha from the Hanuman Chalisa to keep at your desk, a reminder to pause and reconnect through your day. Deliverer from difficulties. संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावै मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावै. Sri Hanuman frees one from difficulties when remembered with mind, action, and speech. Life is full of trials that seem unbearable. Sri Hanuman is the great liberation from these difficulties. But the instruction Tulsidas gives is clear. Remembrance must be wholehearted in mind, in word, and in action. To think of Sri Hanuman with faith, to speak his name with love, and to act in his spirit of service is to place ourselves fully in his care. then His grace lifts us from trouble not only by removing obstacles but also by giving strength to endure them with courage. Reflect. Write down two recurring troublesome thoughts. Can these problems be solved? If yes, list the steps and face them with Sri Hanuman's courage and strength. If not, surrender them completely to Sri Hanuman. The Lord's missionary. सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज तुम सकल तुम साजा. Above all is Sri Ram, the king of ascetics, and you accomplish all his tasks. Sri Hanuman never sought his own glory. His only purpose was to fulfill Sri Ram's work, whether as messenger, warrior, healer, or protector. He acted only for the Lord's mission. Sri Ram is called the Tapasvi Raja, the king who ruled through renunciation and dharma. Sri Hanuman reflected the same spirit, offering his every thought and action as service. To live for the Lord's work is the highest service, and Sri Hanuman shows us that when we dedicate ourselves to God, our life becomes divine. Reflect. Do I live for my own goals or for the Lord's work? When faced with choices, do I ask myself, does this action help or hinder the work of Dharma? Well wishing, wish fulfiller. और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे. Whoever approaches you with desires receives abundant fruits in life. Sri Hanuman is compassionate to all. Those who come to him with worldly desires are not turned away. He fulfills them, granting strength, wealth, and success. Yet his greater gift is to lift the devotee beyond desires towards devotion and liberation. This shows his boundless kindness. He meets us where we are, answering our prayers, but slowly draws us higher by giving us what we think we want. He prepares us to seek what we truly need, the joy of surrender and freedom. Reflect. What steps can I take to shift my focus from getting to giving in devotion? Have changed over time from asking for things to asking for inner qualities. Think. Glowing glory. चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा. Your glory pervades all four ages, and your radiance is famous throughout the world. The power and presence of Sri Hanuman is not confined to a time or place. In every age, his devotion and service to the Lord shine forth. When unrighteousness rises, he stands as the light of righteousness. This is why in all four ages people remember and worship him. His name itself carries a brilliance that removes fear and weakness. Saints and seekers testify that simply remembering Sri Hanuman fills the heart with courage, purity, and devotion. His glory is timeless, his light universal. He is not only a hero of the Ramayana but a living presence guiding seekers across centuries. Reflect. Do I see Hanuman as a figure of the past or is a living guide today? What stories of Sri Hanuman inspire me most, and how can I translate their message into today's challenges? Clear position. साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे. You are the protector of saints and devotees, the destroyer of demons, and the beloved of Sri Ram. Sri Hanuman's strength is always in the service of righteousness. His heart is full of compassion for the noble and the good, and he rushes to protect them from harm. At the same time, he is fierce and fearless before the forces of negativity. He does not fight for personal gain, but only for the cause of Dharma. This balance of tenderness and courage makes Sri Hanuman so dear to Sri Rama. Devotees find safety in his presence, for he shields them from within and without, giving them the courage to walk the path of goodness without fear. Reflect. How do I protect what is noble and good in my own life? How can I use my time wisely and direct my thoughts and actions towards what is noble? Live to give. अष्टसिद्धि नवनिधि के दाता असबर दीन जानकी माता. You are the bestower of the eight siddhis and nine treasures, a boon granted to you by Mother. Mother Sita blessed Sri Hanuman with the power to grant both spiritual perfections and material prosperity. The eight skills siddhis include extraordinary capabilities like becoming small as an atom or large as a mountain. And the nine treasures nidhis signify every form of wealth, though he has the power to give such blessings. Sri Hanuman himself lives in simplicity, untouched by desire. When devotees approach him, he gives according to their need, but ultimately guides them towards devotion and liberation. His greatest gift is not siddhis or nidhis, but the joy of serving Sri Ram. Through him, seekers learn that true wealth lies in devotion and service. Reflect. How do I define wealth in my life? Do I recognize the treasure already present in my life, or am I always seeking more? Which siddhi brings lasting joy and makes the life truly blissful at all times? In his service at his feet, राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा. You possess the nectar of Sri Ram's name and ever remain the servant of Raghupati. The real elixir of immortality is not found in alchemy but in devotion. Sri Hanuman carries within him the nectar of Sri Ram's name, which grants fearlessness and bliss. This is why he is immortal, ever youthful, and ever strong. He has no separate identity, but always calls himself the servant of Sri Ram. This humility and steadfastness make him the eternal and ideal devotee. His presence teaches us that to live in the name of the Lord is to drink the nectar that conquers fear and death. Service to Sri Ram is the secret that keeps him ever blessed and ever alive in the heart of devotees. Reflect. Do I see service as a burden or as a source of renewal? What daily habits can help me sip the Ram Rasayan while handling my responsibilities? इटर्नल हैप्पीनेस तुमरे भजन राम को पावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे. By singing your praises, one attains Sri Ram, and sorrows of countless lifetimes are erased. Devotion to Sri Hanuman is never separate from devotion to Sri Ram. To remember and sing the praises of Sri Hanuman is to be carried straight to the feet of Sri Ram, for he never keeps anything for himself. He is the bridge that connects the devotee to the Lord. Through such devotion, the heavy burden of sorrows from countless births is lifted. The mind becomes light, the heart becomes joyful, and the soul is free. This verse assures us that worship of Sri Hanuman is not only protective in this life but also liberating across lifetime, for he takes us directly to Sri Ram. Reflect. Which one common complaint in my day can I replace with praise or gratitude? What must I let go of to be truly happy in this moment? Headed to him, अंतकाल रघुवर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहानी. At the end of life, one goes to the abode of Sri Ram and is reborn as a devotee. Sri Hanuman's presence ensures that at the final moment of life, the devotee's mind turns towards Sri Ram and one reaches his eternal abode. Even in future births, such a devotee is assured of remaining close to God, born again in the company of the good. The assurance of Sri Hanuman is one of protection across lifetimes, to be guided to the Lord at death and to be kept in devotion in future births is an unparalleled blessing. Reflect. Lie down and imagine your final moments. What thoughts and emotions arise? If the mind is mostly turned outward now, do you think it will turn inward then? What can you do today and every day consistently to ensure your mind turns to the Lord in those final moments? Look no further. और देवता चित्त न धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई. One who serves Sri Hanuman needs no further deity, for all happiness comes from him. This verse does not diminish other deities but highlights Sri Hanuman's unique role. To worship him is to be led directly to Sri Ram and thus to the source of all blessings. When devotion to Sri Hanuman fills the heart, the restless search for fulfillment elsewhere subsides. Sri Hanuman brings every kind of happiness, strength in challenges, clarity in confusion, devotion in the heart, and ultimately union with the Lord. In him, the many paths coverage, for he is the all in one embodiment of devotion and selfless service. Reflect. What am I chasing today, believing it will bring me lasting happiness? In my spiritual practice, do I jump restlessly from one pursuit to another, or do I dig deep with steady consistency? A thought away. संकट कटई मिटई सब पीरा जो सुमिरई हनुमत बलबीरा. All troubles end and sorrow are removed for the one who remembers Sri Hanuman, the mighty hero. Sri Hanuman is called Sankat Mochan, the remover of obstacles. When remembered with faith, he gives inner courage to face trials and outer strength to overcome difficulties. He does not always take away the challenge itself, but he removes the fear, sorrow, and weakness that bind us. Sri Hanuman's presence fills the heart with fearlessness, reminding us that no problem is greater than the strength of devotion. In every generation, devotion has testified to the protective and healing power of its name. Reflect. When faced with a challenge, do I focus more on the problem or on strengthening myself to meet it? How do I remind myself that struggles can also be opportunities to grow stronger? My teacher, my champion. जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहूँ गुरुदेव की नाई. Victory, victory, victory to you, O Lord Hanuman. Bestow your grace like a compassionate Guru. The devotee calls out in praise and surrender, acknowledging Sri Hanuman as both Lord and Guru. His victory is not only over demons, but over ignorance, ego, and sorrow. Just as the Guru guides the disciple with love and compassion, Sri Hanuman bestows his blessings upon the devotee. The cry of victory 3 times is not mere flattery, but the expression of faith that His grace has already overcome every obstacle. To call upon Him in this way is to open ourselves up fully to His protection and guidance. Reflect. In what ways can I allow myself to be more open to guidance? Write down 5 things you are grateful for today. Celebrate the simple joys in everyday moments throughout this week. 100 times 100% guarantee. जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई. Whoever recites this Chalisa 100 times is freed from bondage and attains great joy. The Hanuman Chalisa is not only poetry but a spiritual practice. Tulsidas assures us that regular recitation brings liberation from bondage, whether worldly troubles, mental afflictions, or bindings due to action. Repetition deepens remembrance, turning the mind again and again to Sri Hanuman until devotion becomes natural. The number 100 indicates steadiness and completeness. Through such devotion, obstacles drop away, the heart becomes light, and true joy blossoms. The fruit of recitation is not only worldly relief but spiritual freedom and lasting happiness. Reflect. How have consistency, discipline, and inspiration shaped my progress so far? Track a habit for a week and notice its effect on your body, mind, and emotion. Lord Shiva's seal of approval. जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा हो यह सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा. Whoever reads this Hanuman Chalisa will attain success, and Lord Shiva himself is witness to this truth. The promise of the Hanuman Chalisa is sealed with the authority of Lord Shiva, for Sri Hanuman is his own incarnation. Saint Tulsidas assures the devotee that steady recitation leads to success in both worldly and spiritual life. Success here does not mean mere outer achievement, but the blossoming of devotion, clarity, and strength. The Lord Himself bears witness that sincere devotion never goes in vain. Reflect. If I act with devotion, clarity, and strength, how will I respond to challenges big and small? Based on your reflection so far, list 5 daily practices that will help you reach your spiritual goal. Shri Hanuman in my heart, Tulsidas सदा हरिचेरा, कीजय नाथ हृदय में डेरा. Tulsidas, ever the servant of the Lord, prays, O Master, please dwell in my heart forever. The poet humbly signs his name, identifying himself not as a scholar or saint, but as the servant of the Lord. This humility is the highest devotion. By asking the Lord to dwell in his heart, Saint Tulsidas expresses the essence of bhakti, to make the heart the permanent abode of the divine. This prayer is not only his but also ours, for the Chalisa invites every devotee to the ultimate surrender, humility, and love, opening the heart as the dwelling place of Sri Hanuman and Sri Rama. Reflect. Imagine the sun of awareness opening the lotus of your heart. Let Sri Hanuman, the symbol of strength and clarity, take his seat within. Go about your day centered in that inner light. Notice how your words and actions transform when you live from this awareness. 4 in 1. पवनतनय संकटहरण मंगलमूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुरभूप. O son of the wind god, remover of obstacle, embodiment of auspiciousness, dwell in my heart along with Sri Ram, Lakshman and Sita. The Chalisa concludes with a prayer for Sri Hanumanji to live permanently in the heart, not alone, but with Sri Ram, Lakshman and Mother Sita. This reflects the essence of his devotion. Wherever Sri Hanuman is remembered, there too the Lord resides. Sri Hanuman's form is auspicious. His presence removes obstacles, and his companionship brings joy and strength. The devotee's heart becomes the temple where the Lord and his beloved devotee eternally abide. Reflect. Do a simple Manas Puja, mental worship for the Ram Parivar in your heart. If this were to be a short ritual during your break or commute, what steps would you follow? What feelings and emotions must I let go of or make more space for Bhagavan in my heart? Always and in all ways. The journey through Hanuman Chalisa is a journey into our own hearts. Each verse opens a window to devotion and strength. Each reflection turns our attention inward, and each name of Sri Hanuman brings us closer to Sri Ram. The Chalisa does not end when the verses are complete. Its true power begins when the spirit of these words becomes a part of our daily living. When humility guides our thoughts, when courage strengthens our actions, and when love fills our heart, then we are truly blessed by Sri Hanuman's grace. May this prayer keep us anchored in faith, protected in every challenge, and ever devoted to the Lord. When Sri Hanuman is remembered, their joy, peace, and strength shine forth. May he ever remain in our hearts, along with Sri Ram, Mother Sita, and Lakshman. 40 days of chant, read, and reflect. I chanted, I focused on reflections, I stayed mindful through the day, I stayed true in my intentions. Spiritual growth unfolds through steady and sincere practice. A mandal sadhana, disciplined, maintained for 40 days, helps the mind become focused, the heart anchored, and the understanding deepened. Each day's effort, whether through chanting, reading, or reflection, gradually refines thought and strengthens inner pure progress. On the dohas and chopais, to serve as a quiet reminder that small, consistent steps lead to lasting transformation. Shri Hanuman Chalisa. श्री गुरुचरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारे बरनौ रघुबर विमल जसु जोदायक फलचारि बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर रामदूता तुलित बलधामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति जय संगे कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंजित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लसन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंका जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर शिवर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरतहि सम भाई सहस वदन तुम रोज सगावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिंसा जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते कभी कोविद कहि सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा तुमरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानु प्रभु मुद्रिका मिलि मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाहि दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते शुभम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे, होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे। सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज समारो आपै, तीनों लोक हांकते कापै। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनावे। नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा। संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे, मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे। चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा, है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नवनिधि के दाता, असबर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे। अंत काल रघुबरपुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित्तन धरई, हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई। संकट कटै मिटै सब पीरा, जो सुमिरै हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई। जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई, छूट ही बंदे महासुख होई। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, कीजय नाथ हृदय मह डेरा। कीजय नाथ हृदय मह डेरा। पवन तनय संकट हरना, मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसहु सुरभूप। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय, बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय। श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। नमः पार्वती पतये, हर हर महादेव। The Chinmay experience. Chinmay mission is a global movement inspired by the life and teachings of His Holiness Swami Chinmayananda. It is dedicated to the inner transformation of individuals through the knowledge of Vedanta, spiritual practices and selfless service, thereby creating a happier and more harmonious world. The movement begins in 1951 with Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda's first public discourse in Pune, and the mission was formally registered in 1953. In 2026, Chinmay Mission celebrates Chinmay Amrit Mahotsav, 75 years of inspiring generations to live by Vedanta wisdom and serve with love. The mission's activities span every stage of life: Shishu Vihar, Bal Vihar, and over 100 Chinmay Vidyalayas, guided by the Chinmay Vision Program (CVP), nurture value-based education from early childhood. Chinmay Yuva Kendra channels youthful energy into idealism and self-discovery, while study groups, Devi groups and Vanaprastha Sansthan support reflection and spiritual growth for adults and seniors. The residential Vedanta course provides immersive scriptural study and CORD, Chinmay Organization for Rural Development, uplifts communities through integrated rural initiatives. Chinmay Vishwavidyapit bridges Indian knowledge system and modern academia, and the acclaimed Upanishad Ganga series brings Vedanta vividly to life. Regular Gita and Vedic chanting classes foster devotion, discipline, and daily spiritual practice for all ages. Chinmay Amrit Mahotsav, one moment beyond boundaries, eternally inspired, an expression of devotion and gratitude that unites thousands across the globe through spiritual and cultural offerings. A once in a generation gathering for 3 days of reflection, devotion, and inspiration. Highlights Chinmay Amrit Yatra conclusion and grand commemorative ceremonies. Vedic chanting by Swamins and Brahmacharis. Enlightening sessions, Chinmay Amrit musical. Special program on non-dualism for world understanding. Immersive Chinmay experience exhibition. Heritage artifacts, digital storytelling. Global participation, India and 25 countries. I irresistibly logical, eye-opening, transformating, and endearing are but a few of the responses of Swami Swarupananda's books and talks over the years. Since his initiation into the monastic order by the preeminent master of Vedanta Swami Chinmayananda in 1992, subsequent to his intensive studies under Swami Tejomayananda, he has stirred up across the world an awareness of the breadth and depth of the timeless and universal teachings of Vedanta. His tremendous work in bringing out the essential wisdom and underlying unity of all religions has garnered him a place among the most highly respected thinkers on self-development philosophy. Swami Swarupananda has addressed the corporate sector on many occasions, both in India and beyond. Today, as global head of Chinmay Mission, he continues to shape thousands of lives with the overarching overarching aim of bringing his audience perceptibly closer to the universal ideal of a holistic and fulfilling existence. More titles by Swami Swarupananda. Namah Shivaya, Leap to Liberty, Life Management, Storm to Perform, Inner Ramayan, Life Changers, Sankat Mochan, Gopika Geet, Mahamrutyunjay. Hari Om. Shri Chinmay Sadguru Namaha. Hari Om. Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj ki Jai.